colours you've never seen before. Welcome to my world. Hope you like it. We're just spreading a word.
Hello, folks. Sorry for the minor wobble there. Had to sort things out. And then, I accidentally moved the thing. I didn't mean to move the thing. I'm going to grab another bit and move that over here. Okay. Sorry, you're just going to witness somebody learn how to stream after, like 6 years or something. But, you know, just kind of vibing. But yes, hello everybody. I hope you are all doing wonderful. I should probably turn the thing on, shouldn't I? Because I'm going to be... It's the right way up. Yes. And it'll be slightly out of focus, because that means that I can raise things so that they will be in focus. Because I actually remembered to do it beforehand this time. But yes, hello everyone. I am doing some painting today. I am painting goblins, because it's me. Also, I completely forgot to open this can whilst I didn't have a microphone on, so let me do that under the desk. Cool. I totally didn't get Dr. Pepper on my hands. But yes, I hope you are all doing well out there. But yeah, so just a little simple thing today. I'm going to be painting specifically this Gorka Morka goblin that needs a little bit more work on the skin, and then I'll just try and finish off the rest of it. That's sort of my simple little goal, just to finish that, and anything else I do is a bonus. And then I have this next, you know, as part of a longer term thing. So whenever that's drying, I have something to do with my hands. But yeah, this is the. If you saw the last mailbag video, this is what has happened to that Rogue Trader battle wagon. It lives again. But yes, so that is the plan for today. Let me put on some music for in the background. Okay. I put on the Chaos Gate soundtrack for something fitting. I will probably change it. But that's what it is now. Let me know if you can hear it okay. Because it's quite quiet at the start. We'll find out, won't we? Question, I need to strip paint, but I don't want to deal with brake oil. Any general cleaner degreaser will work. I have not tried anything really beyond Dettol. But I don't know how available that is in other places in the world. But I'm sure other people will have their own things to do. own ways of doing it. Sadly, Samus, I didn't actually find a place to include the... Oh, am I holding it that way? I should be holding it nice well. To involve the kettle. The shape of this is the exact thing, so you can't really see inside it very well. With all the lighting that I've got. So I don't have a light here, coming down from here, because it would be awkward from where I am. But yeah, I wasn't able to include the kettle because I needed to leave. So basically, this guy goes in here, so it leaves me with so that he can actually like use the gun. Oh god, this is too big and unwieldy for this setup. No.
You don't need a light?
Oh, hush now. But yeah, so this space sort of was needed to put in, like, if I want to put in a mega knob, so I can put in a 40mm base in there. So I didn't really have the space to put a little kettle in there. But that kettle will be included in any future large orc vehicles. Yes, Snipe offered a lighter. I will say the kettle was a nightmare to get off. I don't know how well you can't really see it, but everything along there had to be like cut out, which is why I have these panels like over here so that they cover up where the damage was from removing it. Yeah, this was a time to restore, especially the back wheels, because so the wheels were like so the wheels go into the axle, like there. Well, the axle goes into the wheels more accurately. And it was originally done with plastic glue, so it was fused into one solid block. And so when I tried to remove them, the whole axle just tore off. So that's cool. But that meant so to get the wheels reattached, I had to like paint them separately, and then pin them in. And then once the stuff was painted, green stuff in that gap, like get green stuff in there and seal it over, and then paint over the green stuff. Like you can see, it's hard to tell because of the, you can't really see it super clearly, which is good. It means you can't really see the thing very well, even when it's, in person. Oh, thank you, Rosamara. You're one of the best emotes on Twitch. Thank you, and thank you for the reason. We do need to get more emotes sorted out. I know I say that like every week, and then I just don't get around to it. But like, it's true. But yeah, so that was a pain to get sorted. But it is slowly coming. I have actually played a game with this because all the parts are there, even if they're not finished painted, and it didn't die. So that's shocking. Okay, the music just stopped playing for a while. Okay, that's cool. Okay, Hellsgate. Ridiculous soundtrack. Oh, anyway. Right, okay, let's actually get to the painting, which means I'll have to actually grab the paints that I need. Which, if I was smart, I would have done beforehand. Ugh. There you go. What I need for now, anyway. Shake that. I appreciate I put some checkered strips on two of my Road Trader orcs. Good, good. I'm always a fan of a little bit of check. But yeah. So this is just a step of Okay. And adding a little bit of wash to the green that I've done. Some blue specifically, just to add some interesting tones to it. And then I'll do the final layer of, thank you for just constantly closing. God, GW pot's terrible. I don't much like the dropper pots either. So fuck me, basically. I'm just difficult to please, I guess. Okay, I guess I'm just changing the music because this is just has huge gaps between the songs. Okay, cool, cool. I'll deal with you in 1 second. Okay, I need to alter the focal level of the camera a little bit. Thought I would default to being a little bit higher, but you tend to have to dial these things in a smidge, so that's fine. Okay. Where's my mouse? There we go. Here we go. That'll do. Ah. Hope you can all hear that okay. Swapped over to Rights of War. Okay. Now let's sort out that focal level. Once I remember how to do it, Jesus Christ. Okay. Cool. Okay. Ah, but yes. Okay, right. Things are actually in order. Okay. Cool. Right. Well, while that's drying, I'll just do a little bit of general stuff on the battle wagon. So let's. I know it's lead belcher, but I can't help but still refer to it as bolt gun metal, for I'm old. But yeah, so what's on everybody's hobby docket right now? What's everyone painting? Or you can see what I am painting. I mean, you couldn't right then because I was holding it off screen, but wow, this is the exact wrong place to be having stuff. No. Doing a job lot of orcs to go in my 3D printed stomper. Oh, interesting. De-painting stuff. Yeah, so we've got a lot of fun old stuff on the go. I'm back to hobby after 14 years working on a current and a third Dead Hive Tyrant. Oh, fun! Like, I imagine that the what's the word? The contrast between those two styles would be very interesting. Stop painting on some pots because the light was getting dim. Yeah, understandable, understandable. It's much nicer to paint with natural light, but certainly haven't missed building metal minis. Oh, yeah. Like, since getting into the whole, like, collecting and painting of retro sort of models, my original distaste for painting, well, for dealing with metal models has dimmed somewhat. Because I've just got used to them now, but also... Man, I'm glad that that isn't really a thing in GW land anyway anymore. Obviously, I think there's still a few things that are still in metal, but they're in the minority at this point. Like, just painting them and how easily they can pick up, like, chips or get the paint worn off is one thing, but... yeah, when you got to, like, assemble metal models. Okay. Okay. So someone is selling the Armorcast version of that Battle Wagon. I'm tempted. I don't know how good it is. Because it does look like a pretty rough cast in general whenever I've seen them. Like, this thing is in and of itself, you know, it requires a little bit of work to look alright. Wow, I like when I've got this on here. Yeah, the exposure goes fucking nuts. I should lock the exposure down, shouldn't I? Yeah. Hey, there we go. Go day for night. Let's yeah. Okay. That gets a bit more of an accurate representation of what's actually going on. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, a lot of the like the armor cast stuff. It is stuff that like at some point I would like to get hold of. At least some of it. Oh God. Okay, maybe that saturation's a bit low. Sort that in a sec. But yeah, 'cause I know they're a bit rough, but like half the models that I paint these days are a bit rough, so it's, you know, not really that unusual. Yeah, no, getting hold of the armor cast Gargan is yeah, unlikely, because yeah, what is this, like 300 and... is it 333? I don't know. It's been a while since we made that video. But yeah, there's about 300 of them in the world, so, you know, it's a pretty rare thing to be able to get hold of one. What I should do is I should show you the model that one of the models I most recently finished painting, which is a fairly obscure one that got sent into the PO box, and I painted up on a whim the other day. It helps if you're on camera. Yeah, the system I've got set up works quite well for painting individual miniatures. Like just like infantry, not so great for vehicles, it turns out. We will persevere. Okay, there we go. Well, that's first coat of that done, so I can get back to the Grotty Gretchen. Let me sort that out. I'm going to be here forever fiddling with this setting, aren't I? Ooh. But yes, this is a thing I painted the other day, which is a apparently a Nexanine droid. So I put a little N on the side there, which is from a company called Zap Figures, who were making stuff in, I believe, 1990, and that was about it. It's a real rough sculpt, I can tell you that. And since I could not find a single picture on the internet of this, I couldn't exactly find out like what the bits on it were supposed to be, so I just had to kind of guess. Like, there's these little things back here that I couldn't work out if they were extra little legs, like support legs because of it having such big guns, or if they were just like extra gates for the molding process. I couldn't actually figure it out because yes, they're a bit scrappy, but so's the rest of the model. So yeah, but I was quite happy with that. Love the colour choice. Is that greenish colour? Oh yeah, thank you. It's oh, what do you call it? Let me find the damn paint pot. There we go. It's Cabalite Green. It's that one. I really like the colour, and I don't get much of an excuse to use it, so I was like, yeah, let's do that. And I thought, yeah. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that. It originally had like, but it still does. It's just underneath here. It's one that has a metal base underneath. It's like a part of the model because it's from that kind of era where that was still very common. So yeah, that's why he's on such a big base for such a small figure, is so that I can hide that under here. It's also a little bit. It's from my pile of bases that I don't use for 40k miniatures because I can't really tell very easily, but it's slightly thinner than a standard GW 40mm base, and that really bothers me because I'm that kind of person. But yeah. Anyway, I'm really happy with that. It's a fun little model. And yeah, I'll have to put it online just so there is a picture of one of them online somewhere. As if it's not online right now, but you know what I mean. Yeah, Cabalite Green, it is just a lovely colour. Yeah, I have those thin third-party bases. Yeah, I think a lot of people, have them to some degree, because you see them for cheap on eBay, and you're like, ah, yeah, I'll grab some of those, and then you do, and you're like, oh, they're not quite right, are they? Oh, and if anyone was wondering, this is a Gorka Mork grot, by the way. I can't remember if I mentioned that. It's one of the ones that was sent into the PO box. I've been slowly chipping my way through the grots we've been sent. I need to move that light. Ugh, God damn it. Did I just put everything in slightly the wrong place today? It's very annoying. Brother Flappy Mouth as Tit Fudders just crawled over the finish line. Oh, thank you very, very much to Brother Flappy Mouth. And thank you to the person that really did it. Yes, I know who it is, but I shall not say, since you did not publicly say it. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. Background music is going to be big Papers, Please vibes. Oh, yeah, this is very Papers, Please. God, I need to play that again. It's really good, though. Really good game. Depressing. But, very good. Gobbling. Hey Garrett, and yes, there is gobbling happening. Funny enough, this song actually gives me less paper. This particular one is a bit less Papers, Please, and this reminds me of Final Fantasy. There's a particular song, I can't remember which one exactly. It's from a pre-7 game. I can't remember which one. eBay has an Epicast termite for sale, and the casting quality looks like a sandcastle. So the badly miscast or literally crumbling to dust. Oh no, Epicast was just like that. The Epicast, I have yet to see an Epicast thing from that era that didn't look a little bit ropey. No, I've actually played Final Fantasy. I want to give a bash, but I know how long those games are and I don't have the time to finish them. I get that. I'm trying to think how, like, I'm not like the most, I mean, I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy fan in general, even if Final Fantasy VII is my favourite game of all time. I was just, you know, around at the right time. Yes, I think Kefka's theme, I think that is what I'm thinking of. But yeah, I'm trying to think how many Final Fantasy games I've actually completed. So I've done the remakes of 3, 4, I've done 7, I've done 10, and I've done 12. I've played a lot of the others, but I just haven't got around to finishing them. Like, I got really close to the end of both 8 and 6, and then for whatever reason, just didn't end up actually finishing them. Like, I understand 8, because, I mean, it's Final Fantasy 8, it's, you know, it's not amazing. But 6, I had no excuse, because 6 is really good. It was my first Final Fantasy, so I have a soft spot for it. I get that. I get that. I do. I similarly, though 7 was the first one that I played. I do remember really liking 8 when it first came out because it looked more realistic, which in my mind made it better because I was a foolish child. But yeah, it's not held up quite as well as some of the others. I like how everything I've done to this, it probably, on camera, looks literally no different. But it does to me, and that's what matters. Being foolish about loving a game that's a shit so pretty graphics. Look at how many people enjoyed No Man's Sky. You see, No Man's Sky is a weird one because, like, I've played it and I do think it's quite a fun game, but like, I will never understand why that game had hype. Like, I just don't understand it. Because everyone was like absolutely shitting their fucking trousers over like No Man's Sky, and it was like, well, I mean, you know, it's like a new property and the game hasn't come out yet, and why are you all hyped about this? Like, I just never understood it, and then it came out and everyone was disappointed, and it was like, okay, I mean, you kind of did this to yourselves. Oh, but the man said it was going to be really good. Well, yeah, but you could have just used your eyes. I don't know, I'm being unfair, but also I just literally never understood it. It was very strange. Call me silly, but it looked like the exact, you know, the trailers looked like the exact game it was. Curious about what it's like to paint with a camera over the figure. Awkward. I won't lie. It does extend the time, at least with the setup I've got. Because I don't have the room for like a dedicated setup, so I have to kind of just bodge it together whenever I do it. If you get like a dedicated space, then you can definitely tailor it so it's not going to get in the way. Do not have that luxury. See, I think, Brad, I think the thing is that maybe it's because I'm just a bit older, but like all of the promises that were made about No Man's Sky, I was like, well, I mean, that's not happening. This is just typical video game hype, like the hype train, the hype sort of cycle, and I don't know. I think what really happened was that everyone momentarily suspended their cynicism, and were burned. I didn't. It happens sometimes. I notice, like, there'll be a game that comes out and everyone's like super hyped about it, and I'm just like, wait, what? Why? Something happened with Destiny 1. Like, there was like a major hype about it when it was just skyboxes, and I was like, why though? It's not because it comes from Bungie. Like, okay, but like it's not a game yet. Something happened with Cyberpunk 2077. I think that's a little different. because that was from a developer that had a good track record. So there was a reason for people to get a bit more hyped about that. Like the state of CD Projekt Red as a company aside, like they built up good favour with the Witcher games, so I can sort of understand how people got really hyped about it. But again, I am old. I'm not really, I'm only 35. You know, but I've been around for long enough that, like, I've seen enough games and console generations launched that I'm very cynical about the whole process and take everything with a pinch of salt. Okay, that's fine. I'll do. He's just a 5-point goblin. I don't know why I spend so much time on him. Oh, speaking of which, I should probably show you the other one. But yeah, so here's I don't know why I presented it that way around. Yeah, here's some of the other goblins that have been sent into the PO box that I have finished painting. So here's another Gorka-Morka one. I can never remember which ones exactly are Rebel Grots and which ones were just part of the regular set. Because I know there are, because obviously some of the Rebel Grot ones do have the little stars on them. So I'm missing gob time. It has been gob time. You've only missed 40 minutes of gob time, so don't worry. But yeah, most of the Rebel Grots do have a little star on them, so you can tell them apart, but not all of them. So I never remember which ones are part of which set. But yeah, so that's one Gorka-Morka one. Here's another Gorka-Morka one. Yeah, very, very similar to the one I'm painting. Just you know, a few little subtle differences there. And a rogue trader goblin who is in what I can only describe as like a chastity onesie. And I don't want to judge him. I don't think GW ever made a distinction between Rebel and regular Grots and Gorka-Morka. Oh, I just mean in terms of their release schedule, like releases, because there was a bunch that were released before Gorka-Morka who were just Grots, and then there was a bunch that were released afterwards that were some of them were specifically Rebel Grots because they had the star on them, but some of them were just more generic. And if I remember rightly, I think the original Grots got re-released under the moniker of Rebel Grots as well. So it's one of those things that's just a bit more confusing than it used to be. But yeah, this is yeah, it is a muzzle-loading musket. Yes, actually, yeah. So you can see, because these are about the same size as a modern one. So you can see, yeah, he's a bit taller than a standard Grot, but he fits in with the mob fine. And the last one is the very first Gretchen model. Which is the 1987 Space Goblin with a replaced knife, because the original knife was missing when it was sent to us. Which is understandable. The model is, you know, like 34 years old. Sorry, 35 years old. I'm like, oh yes, I'm 36 this year. That's, yeah. And it came out the year after I was born. But yeah, so, one thing I've forgotten is how finely sculpted the face on second-hand plastic orcs and Grots were. Yeah, yeah, they're a little unusual. They're just a different kind of vibe. Like, but even then, saying that, like, these are both Rogue Trader goblins, and they both look radically different. It was just a bit all over the place. 39. I'm staring into the void. It is fine. Okay, let's get back to this lab. What should we do? No, 93 getting reference. One of the fun things that has happened over the last handful of years, mainly since we started doing Codex Compliant, is we noticed that our demographics on YouTube started getting way older. Which makes sense, given what we're doing. But I was like, oh yeah, I suppose if we're talking about stuff that's like, 20, 30 years old, like, and we're not just doing video game content, then yeah, that is going to happen. But I'm okay with it. We've got a chill audience. Feeling like a youngling with 34. Not sure how I feel. I'm only 18 and I feel decrepit and done. Oh, that's just 20. That's just living in 2022. That music stopped. Let me sort it out. Oh, fuck it. And just repeat it for now, and then I'll figure something out in a second once I've done this. This particular song always makes me think of like a sort of 90s era, like point and click adventure. Like, more specifically, I think there's a song in like Phantasmagoria 2, which is very similar to this, like the start of it. Thank you, Loudbike. Your contribution is noted. Old sculpts is that they have a lot of guff underneath their loincloth to cover. It's kind of awkward because it's like a weird bit of the cast, so. Also, whilst I'm here, let's paint his toes. Speaking of like older things, I'm up to season 4 of watching Babylon 5. which is certainly a show. Oof, that thing goes to some dark places. Hey, Chambers. And yeah, Babylon 5 is it's very good, but also watching it in 2020 is 2020. It's 2022. Fucking hell. Watching it in present year is deeply strange. With the like theme of like the slow and upsetting rise of authoritarianism back on Earth. Ooh, okay, yeah, it's a bit much.
It's like I imagine it felt not very subtle back in the day, but yeah.
Yeah. It's 2020 for the third time. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna move that light.
I literally can't really make this out. Like even with my own eyeballs. So God knows how you're doing. Which is why it's slightly not centered, because I need to.
Okay. Oh, fuck, can I put this? Alright. Cable, there we go. I was about to ask what the square line was, but I know what it is, so you know roughly where the camera's pointing. No, it's just because this is a fault. You know, it's like what size was this? Like A2, and it's folded over multiple times, and so this is just a line from where it was folded, and so it's just in the center because it's roughly in the center. That's all it is. It's not that. It's nothing complicated. Ooh. Okay. Let me get my thing out. Okay. Maybe better? I don't know. We'll find out. Oh, the square of black lines. Oh no, that's just a thing that's just on here. no, that's just part of the design because it's like it's a gaming mat that I've just got a bunch of because they came with something. Something about you tapping on the metal-looking tar and reacting like tar. Like tar, not metal, man. Oh, it's cardboard. Yeah, that's all it is. I suppose using this as like a thing, so I knew exactly where I was, would be a sensible thing. It was a good
it was a good guess made, you know, from a place of sound logic. Unfortunately, I didn't think that far ahead, so it was undone solely by my own ineptitude, I'm afraid.
Okay. What do now? There we go. I'm not sure what to do with this gun. I mean, paint it, obviously, but no, I'm not quite sure what to do with the colour of it yet.
Something with a very heavy, vibrant red gun on the very similar figure I had. But I don't know if I'm going to do the exact same here.
Go Scaramouche, give him a golden gun. Oh, unfortunately, gold is not within the
colour palette that I use. It's actually one of the things that I would like to pass on to other painters, or at least people who have not who aren't as
you know, haven't come through being an artist.
Like to come into painting, which is that when you're looking for colours to use, like for
Metals and stuff, gold is not neutral. Because like silver is a very neutral colour, so you can kind of add that to anything and it'll always look alright. But if you're doing gold, not all colour palettes will work with gold. So you'll sometimes see people, and you can see GW do it to like add gold to the, like as a you know, a fancy like to make something more ornate to a color scheme. It just doesn't look right. But silver will always go without anything because it's not really a color. I generally do my grots always pretty plain good metal guns and keep the special colours for more important characters. That is a good rule of thumb generally. But all my grots are tiny, you know, rebels. So they're all important in their own way. I try and include one bit of red on all of them to help kind of keep it cohesive. Oh, the music's a bit loud. Okay, fair enough. One of those things you just have to kind of dial in, you know. The reason gold on my Howling Griffins is more ruddy brass, like pure yellow. Bright gold doesn't work at all. Yeah, exactly. That's what you have to do. There's sometimes I think people get stuck in that kind of thing of like having to go very, very harsh. And yeah, when you've got yellow on there already, yellow and gold together, you have to like futz around with it, and going for a more brassy tone will make that work. Whereas yeah, just a vibrant, the kind of gold you'll use on say like an ultramarine, just doesn't work right. In heraldic terms, yellow is gold. Anyway, there is that too. What the fuck was I doing? Ah, yes. Which red we're using? That's the red I need to throw away. I'll need that in a sec. would like to have a station where I can have all of my paints just out, that would be amazing. Have you tried painting oxidized metals? You know, I've never really tried to do the verdigris kind of thing. I would like to do it at some point. I've just never really had a particular excuse to. I would imagine it would look quite good
on some of these rebel grots because they've already got like all the tones in there because they use greens and blues and stuff.
So I imagine it would work quite well. But also, I've painted nearly 100 grots.
And I haven't done it on the other ones, so it would be weird for it to start showing up. And just some of them.
But no, I should just try it on like a single model. And I realise I'm using the wrong brush. I'm using my slightly knackered one for
not painting detail. There we go.
It's quite fun actually, like
how much, like just a little splash of red, like this might be the only bit of red I'll do on this.
helps like tie it into the other models. Off topic, but curious, any chance of a new album from Fighting Evil is cool? Well, I mean, to not put too fine a point on it, we would like to do one at some point, but
The problem is that
like half the members over lockdown had kids. So our time is a little bit restricted. Costs a lot of money and time to get an album sorted. We all want to do another one, but we need to write music for it. For one, we do have a bunch of stuff that you know could end up being to like half an album's worth sort of already. But you know, it's a whole thing. I've no idea how the music scene is now, actually. Like, because we've not played a gig since... I was going to say post-pandemic, as if it's over. It's not. But in the after times, yeah, we haven't done anything yet. And yeah, so I will be intrigued to see how the music scene has dealt with the change, because we first started
playing live just after the UK economic crash. I say UK like it wasn't worldwide, but you know, it was quite bad here, and it basically killed the music scene overnight.
Like, we used to play like packed gigs. People were spending, and you know, you'd make a fair bit of money on selling merch and stuff, and then it just went to nothing overnight. It was fucking weird. I can wait. Congrats to the newly pairs. I think actually at this point, I think Snipe and I are
yeah, we're the only ones who haven't got kids now and don't have any plans to.
Oh, we're back to the clown music. There you go. them for a nice paint organizer. That also doesn't take up room. We do have a lot of Dreadnought babies, that's true, that's true. Side snipers to get you pregnant already. You see, the thing is, if we were to have kids, then we absolutely wouldn't have the ability to get videos made because we're both such disorganized messes that, like, the fact that Codex Compliant comes out vaguely monthly is a miracle in and of itself. Add looking after a kid to that, and woof. I'm just going to assume Dicko has a van and or some kind of viscous slime to occupy himself. What does that mean? Because he has a baby. He's literally had a kid. Or a midlife crisis. He's not old enough for a midlife crisis. He's younger than I am. Except for whenever we've had our old trombonist Ben, I've always been the oldest. Never too late or early for a midlife crisis. Okay, that's true. That's true. I'm fairly certain that I started having mine around, like, what, age 11? No one's Snipe Wib had children because they'll suddenly get Codex Compliant deep lore on Pampers and objective model reviews on nerdy pacifiers. It's deeply unlikely that will ever happen. We have no plans. Oh, hands, I get that. That's the thing, you know, there's so many... There's no rules about, like, what you should be doing by each point in your life. It's all rather arbitrary. My... I'm guessing this isn't the word bearer's red that I was looking for? Guess that one's my old knackered one that I haven't thrown away yet for some reason. There we go.
I've decided to add a little bit more of a splash of red, although it's a slightly darker red. Just a little bit of rope wrapping around it. All string material. Something that isn't metal.
Considering offloading some pricey Magic the Gathering cards to buy the big Horus Heresy box. I don't blame you. I've heard like Magic the Gathering gets stupid expensive. For saying it's just like card, like I don't know, like
say what you like about the expense of Warhammer, and it is expensive. It is too expensive, and it takes the absolute piss quite often.
I've just noticed there's like a nubbin of metal right on the end of that sight. I need to take off. Quiet now. I have a quiet now. There you go. Apologies for not doing that on screen, but I'm not using a very sharp knife while it's not exactly where I need it to be. It was just a tiny little nub of like excess from the moulding process on the very tip of that, and I did not notice it until just now, somehow. But yeah, the Magic the Gathering stuff, like, I never got into it, so like I'm obviously a little bit disattached from the whole thing. The closest I ever got to playing Magic was Pokemon cards, and I need to get a palette from somewhere. There we go. Here's a trick if you're like me and you never use palettes. It's fucking sealed up. God, I hate dropper bottles. Okay, 1 second. Cool. Yeah, I need to probably clean that. Yeah, this is one of the few Vallejos I actually use frequently. All got sealed up somehow. Because I use this particular red for the inside of the mouth. I'm entirely off camera. I just realised that. Yeah, if you don't use palettes very often, because I very rarely ever do, yeah, if you want to not have to bother to clean them very often, just put tin foil over them, and then you can just take the tin foil off at the end. on reflection, possibly not the most eco-friendly, but I've never got around to trying one, in all honesty.
I hear they're very good, but also I barely ever use pallets, so you know, it seems like it would be somewhat wasteful for me. Once again, I have entirely adjusted where... It's probably because I got up a couple of times. Adjusted where my natural sitting position is.
Oh, hey, Christian. Painting is going fine. There we go. Alright, let's actually do some of the detail work that I keep putting off. Right. There we go. It actually reminded me some of the paints I need to just throw away because they've gone wanky. Look out, flesh. Where are you, Wraithbone? Wraithbone? I require your slightly different hue of light. Is that you? That's you.
Okay, bear with me for a second because I need to paint the little dots for eyes.
One. Good. Okay. A long day of internal psychic battle, so I'm going to rest. I hope you have a great time painting Boys Green. Thank you very much, and I hope you're doing okay there, Botlord. I also want everyone to appreciate how long it has taken me to paint all of my grots, considering how long I spend on an individual one. This is just my process. See you, Chambers. Some people speed paint. I slow paint. Not to be confused with the slow painter. Slow is indeed a speed, you are correct. I was going all out on low point models. There's something super satisfying watching a squad solid grow. This is true. This is true. I mean, I've got... what will this be? I think this is the... 87th? Maybe? 87th grot? That's painted. I've got like 110 of them, I think. Like, ready to be played with. But, you know, fully painted. Yeah. It's been very fun to watch the whole thing come together. At some point in the near future, I think once I've got the battle wagon and a full 90, so I've got three squads of 30 regular grots done, I'll do a army showcase video. Not sure if that'll be a main channel or a side channel thing. Probably a main channel thing. That'd probably be sensible, like from a boring need to pay bills perspective. No, it's my painted grot force is only 60 something grots at the moment. Like 1/3 of that is second egg grots too. Nice. I do have a bunch of them, but most of mine is just the current grot kit. What? But yeah, I've gone all out and been very silly and customized like most of them as well. So not only do I spend far too long on my grots that die in droves the moment they actually get on the tabletop, but also I spend far too long building and painting them. Did recently get sent a bunch of second ed grots though. Half tempted to actually paint them as full second ed just things. Thought it might be quite fun. To build is to human, to convert is to be orc. That is very true. That is very true. Okay, I'm putting on some chill Animal Crossing beats because that's how this channel works now, apparently. Smooth vibes time. If that's too loud, let me know. It's kind of hard to tell. Okay. Right then, let's actually get on to doing the washes as it actually approaches something close to done. Put on the hard space chill beats. I've never played the game, so I have no familiarity with it. So that's why I have not. Laser Ben Gang Rise Up, I just based 55 of those Wheat Masters. Nice, nice. Haven't quite a few people say to us that they got into Laser Burn after we made a video, which is wild to me. I didn't figure out what colour to paint these little hair, that's the word, hair. Oh shit, Brenty, that sucks. My sympathies. Hair squigs, there we go, that's what I was looking for. It's kind of fun how like some of these Gorkamorka ones are very obviously like they were obviously remade when they did the main like modern grot kit. So like there's one that looks very similar to this with the top knot and the revolver. Big difference is he's just wearing shoes. But yeah, okay, right. Yep. And banned. We do not allow bots here. Something, 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 Menavine, something, something. I'm aware. I'm aware. Sorry, I realised I came across as really, really sharp. Sorry, I'm concentrating. No, I just, I'm being set in my ways. Behold, you have gotten a sandwich. Such wonders of the modern age. Oh, cool. You thought about getting a squig launcher for your gravel revolution army? Which squig launcher are you talking about? Do you mean the old-fashioned ones, the old squig catapults, or? I think I'm mostly at the highlight point. How do you gravel bases? I use super glue plus baking soda, but is of course a very definite solution. Oh, I just use thingy. This stuff. I am a simple beast. It made things a lot simpler. I did used to just use PVA glue and some sand. Well, it's not really sand, it's like it's just gravel. Yes, the squid catapults. The problem is they're kind of hard to get hold of. Well, not hard, but a little bit more expensive than I'd be willing to pay for them. And there's not really something to run them as. Like, obviously you can try and run them as a mech gun or a Legends big gun, but I try and avoid using Legends stuff wherever possible because as time's gone on, they're woefully out of date rules-wise. And they're too small to be mech guns, really, unless you want to like go out your way to buy a lot of gun crew for them, or maybe build them up on a base. Because I've got a couple of big guns that I have occasionally used as Legends guns, but yeah, it's one of those awkward things because there's a lot of stuff that there isn't really a good way of running them anymore. Like Garrett, who was in here earlier, sent me a tin boy that I want to work into this army somehow, but like just trying to figure out how to use them is sometimes a bit of a trick. Like I've got a couple of the runt bots that Shane has sent me, the original runt bots, and yeah, like just trying to figure out what to run them as now is the trick. Because obviously I can just have them just paint them, and you know there are some stuff that I have basically just done that with, but I like to try and get everything so it can be run, you know.
But they are a fun model, the old squid catapults. And there is something very appealing about just having like a battery of old catapults.
Am I even on camera? No. Same issue I have with big guns. Can't use them.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I painted up a just a regular ass cannon a little bit ago. I really like it, like as a model. But yeah, it's not, I don't really find myself using it anymore, just because of yeah, the Legends rules are rapidly becoming less useful. The pity. I've ranted about this on Twitter several times, but
Legends was a good idea in theory, but
in practice, way too much paint. The rapid pace of modern 40k just doesn't really gel with a
static and unmoving set of rules for some things that are old. Like the original Red Gobbo rules already point to rules that are literally not in the modern codex. So. The Red Gobbo got distinctly worse, like 2 years after its initial release of the new model. Anyway, it's very silly. All I know is when I remove character units. Like, at a certain point, it makes sense. Like, I have long been a proponent for trimming down the Marine Codex by a lot, because there's too many options in the Space Marine Codex. It's obscene how much is in there these days. It's just untenable.
But also, like,
how do you fucking do that? How do you do it without, like,
making, like, half your players absolutely furious with you? There is no good answer. There's merely shades of bad answers.
I mean, a good answer would be to have not made Primaris their own distinct things.
But that requires hindsight. To have just made them, oh, the new tactical
Squad is just Primaris. Like,
but hindsight is 20/20 and all that.
I think of running to run a Grot Revolution army as guard and run the big guns as heavy weapons teams. That is one option. That is one option. Nothing says you have to run them as orcs. I mean, I do, but I have my plans for an Imperial Guard tank company
that's you know, also Rebel Gross. Which I probably would have got further with building had I not got into Transformers. Because I'm a child.
Painting the teeth are always such a finicky thing. Give it time. The first one will go Legends, and then be removed maybe 2 or 3 more editions. The thing is, like, there's so much in there, and we've already had 2 editions of it being horrifically bloated. Like, having to do like a plan that lasts over many editions just doesn't feel like it was a tenable situation. Like, to begin with, it would have been simpler just to straight off, like, say, oh yeah, there's these are these new Marines. I know they're bigger, but like, you can give them an in-law reason, especially now where they're barely any different rules-wise. And just, oh yeah, these are the new tactical squad. That way, if you want to keep using the old ones, you can keep using the old ones. If you want to if you want to use the new fancy models, you can use the new fancy models. I can understand why they didn't, because they wanted to make them into a new unit that, you know, is like some people will buy, and they felt like at the time it was going to maintain like consistency, but yeah, it just feels like it was more trouble than it was worth. I'm not saying it's a plan as much as they're just going to neglect the first one, concentrate totally on promotion. Okay, yeah, that is fair. That is fair. That is what's going to happen. But yeah, it's just a really messy thing, and like and I find any time I play Marines, it's so tedious having to flick through a million fucking stat lines of things you don't have because you physically can't field that much at once. And there's so much redundancy in the codex, which I think is what bothers me more than anything else. Make my slightly different grey. I want my slightly different grey. There we go. Marines have more troops choices than Harlequins have unit choices. Yes. But yeah, it's just it feels like it's one of those things. I totally understand how they ended up in this situation, because like I remember at the time thinking like, oh yeah, so they're doing this and they're going to be like new things, so they're not like overwriting the old things. Oh, that's a cool idea, and I thought it was a good idea at the time, which is presumably what they did. But now it's just like doesn't really make any sense. Especially as I say now that all Marines have the 2 wounds, like it's sort of. I know it made a bit more sense when rules-wise they were a bit more distinct. I know Primaris are still a little better and they've got different guns, but, you know, you didn't have to. A bolt rifle could have just been the same as a bolt, it just looks different. And, like, yes, it can be better in universe, but like, its differences are too granular to actually be picked up on the tabletop, so they just work the same. Like how the bolters that Marines have are supposed to be better than the ones that regular humans can carry.
but the difference between them is too small to actually show up in tabletop differences.
But all this is, you know, obviously hindsight. Like, having seen, knowing what plan, like, I don't know how planned ahead of time everything that they've done was when they made the decision to do Primaris as they did. Because the rules stuff is all very reactive, so... God damn it.
Slipping off frame again.
What happened from Maris was their own army instead of being rolled into Space Marines, like a middle point between Space Marines and Custodes. In a lot of ways, I feel like that probably would have been the more sensible thing to do with them, to have them sort of exist in the realm that, like, Sisters of Battle did in Second, where it says, oh yeah, you can run a full army of them if you want, but like they're intended to be like a detachment that's attached to other Imperial armies. Like, in some ways I feel like that might have been a more elegant solution to the problems, but they might not have even thought that that was a problem when they first started doing it. I do kind of feel like a lot of the issues that the Primaris line has been stuff that sort of naturally sort of just
erupted as they've been doing it, and it's been like, oh shit, okay,
yeah, how do we
deal with this? And like a lot of it wouldn't have been super apparent
when they started. So there's a current canon law reason for Custodes to be out and about as so much these days. I mean, the real reason is because GW started making models for them. But it's just because post Gilman waking up, he started actually going like, all right, you fucks, come out and about. I believe that's the reason. Although I must admit, I am not the most well-versed in Custodes lore.
I want you all to know I'm very close to finishing this now.
By very close, I mean I'll probably still end up spending like half an hour. Like actually finishing it off, but yeah. You can see when I sit down with this afterwards, I'm gonna be like, yeah, there's some stuff I need to touch up, but Always makes me feel like I'm sitting in a jazzy cottage. Good. There's way too much paint in my brush there. Let's try and mop that up. There we go. Thank you, Modhail. Just getting me little gobbo nails done. Yeah, Brinty, I was saying earlier, like the problem with Legends is that it's because it's not maintained. It means that there's lots of stuff that calls to rules in codexes that literally already don't exist. So it means that if you want to use them, then you need to be hauling around even more books around. It's got very messy very quickly. I say Legends is a great idea that doesn't really work. What I think they actually just need to do to, like, quote unquote fix Legends is just to stop referring to codex rules in the entries. Like, oh, it has the 8th edition Daka rule. Okay, right, we'll just write that rule in its whenever you do that, just write the rule out in full on its datasheet as if it's a unique rule to that one thing, and then you're done. You don't have to worry. But no, they didn't do that. What have I got left to actually do here? Ah, yes, okay. Got to highlight the silver. Got to do... And involve putting effort into models that you can't make money off anymore. I mean, not really. It just involves updating some PDFs with a few bits of text. It would involve putting money into it, but like, it's one of those things that it's a good strategy for them in the long term, because it keeps long-term players happy. Plus, it means if they do that, then it means that they can occasionally release, made to order print versions of the old stuff and still have it be playable. I mean, GW of course exists in this sort of like weird ground where, like, yeah, they are a big evil company, you know, fucking, you know, I have no love for them as a corporation, but plenty of people working within it do care about it as a system, as a set of law. But yeah, they so it leads to like this kind of, there's always, it's the art and capitalism thing, you know, there's always going to be a push and shove because there's always people within the company that care about it as a thing beyond just a way to get money, and you know that's there's always that push and pull between it. I didn't know you two had a Twitch channel. Oh yeah, fuck, for so long now. Yeah, we've had this Twitch channel for like God knows how many years. We stream every week, so yeah. What have we got left to do? Just highlight the silver, I think. Okay, and then I'll do the snow on the base, and then we shall be done. Help silver, silver I need. I'll probably solve by having a reference app that literally links to the reference rules. I mean, yes. But I've got to be honest, I hate reading rules off a screen. I have so much trouble doing it. So whilst I fully understand the push to want to do something like that, and I do in theory support it, I also wouldn't like it. I like being able to read rules on like a physical thing. It's like obviously the right thing to, you know, the most sensible thing to do at this kind of state, but you know, me personally have my own hang-ups. Are you in the Midlands somewhere? Do you know Midwinter Minis? I think it's from Colchester. I've had brief discussions with him, a brief conversation with him. We don't know him, no. It's a bit much. Well, it's fine. Find the YouTube painting community choice to diversify their content and to more non-GW materials is a nice change of pace. Yeah, I get that. I'd like GW to reverse their third-party peace policy. If you buy their basic set and then not use certain pieces, then it should be fine. The thing how that works is that, as to my understanding, because of having talked to GW staff, there isn't like a company-wide policy that applies to every single store. It's down to the manager what they want to do, and it's important to remember that if you're going into a Warhammer store and you are playing on their tables, the purpose of that store is to sell Games Workshop products. Everything else it does is an ancillary thing in order to aid selling those products. So there is it sucks, but there is a reason why places don't let you use them in official store capacity. But it is up to the individual manager as to how far they'll let. There are some managers that do not let you use Forge World stuff in their store because you can't buy it there, which doesn't make any sense. But and when it comes to Warhammer World, I'm going to I will tell you this. They say that there is a zero tolerance policy, but the actual thing is, it's fine. Just don't be a dick about it. They only get up in, or they'll only ask you to not do it if you are basically advertising that you're not using Games Workshop models. They don't. The actual people on the ground don't care about this stuff. They just don't. Because I play Warhammer World is where I play most of the time, so you know, it's the closest thing I have to a local place these days that I can actually play. So it's something that I have to contend with, and we've talked to them a lot, as has been evidenced in videos about like what you can use and what you can't, and the website speaks a big game, but it's not actually that big a deal. But yeah, like ultimately what it boils down to is that these places exist as part of it's part of their marketing. So part of the way that they sell their stuff, so it makes sense why they're like they are, but I'd say it used to be much more egregious because there was obviously a time when, they would constantly be releasing rules for things they didn't make models for. And back in the day, they were kind of like, just make it however you want, make it out of a Zoid, whatever, who cares? But then there was like that middle ground where they both didn't make the models, but also required you to only use GW models, and it's like, well, what do you want from us here? Like, third-party companies make the models that you don't make. But for One World Nottingham, the thing they are loose with, say some blow-up pairs that GW don't sell because they've never existed, they're fine with most stuff. Like I've talked to various staff at length about this kind of stuff, and they don't care. They just don't care.
Like, if you're using the odd Cromlech head on your orcs, it's not a big deal. Just don't be loudly saying, oh yes, the models I'm using definitely aren't from Games Workshop. I can't believe how expensive Games Workshop is. Oh my god. You should buy these from this company instead. As long as you're not doing that, they don't care. Okay, I just need to tidy up the back bit there. Yeah, as Muse says, yeah, as long as you're not being a dick about it, you can get away with a lot. But yeah, I didn't finish that thought. Is that yeah, as long as you're not a dick about it, like everything's fine, and it's just another one of the many times where you know, like now they actually do make a lot of like they make pretty much everything that they have rules for, so it's not like a big deal to be able to get hold of them, which it used to be. Honestly, she wrote to me and said that for bases and for decals, anything goes, provided they're not offensive. Which, yeah, is something. It is one of those things where, like, officially, according to like the last time I checked Warhammer World's like website rules, it was like, no, nothing can be from a third party, even bases. But again, it's one of those things they don't care about. I don't know, I feel like we make a joke about it whenever we reference it in videos about like what you can use at Warhammer World, because it's funny to us to be like, I wonder if this thing that's like right on the edge of being Games Workshop or not, like, can you use it? Like, that's always funny to us, but like it's a joke. It's not serious. Like, no one cares that much. Once I've done this, I think I have actually finished this lad. Well, I need to put snow on his base, which I'll go grab my little shovel tool in one sec. But yeah, I think that's pretty much done. It's not the neatest I've done, but I am doing it on stream, and also he's a 5-point goblin, so who cares? I mean, so if you're going to be that obnoxiously verbal about having an anti-GW stance, why the hell are you even in Warhammer World, going to Warhammer World in the first place? You see, now that wouldn't actually surprise me. I've encountered a lot of people in my time who despise everything that Games Workshop do, to the extent that you go, look, do you even like these games? Like, it's fine to hate them as a company. Like, I'm an anti-capitalist. I don't like Games Workshop as a company. I don't like any company. But like, yeah, there's a point at which you go, which it's like you don't even seem to like the art, the game, the fun parts of it that you can enjoy without having to worry about the ethical concerns of consumption under capitalism. It's very strange. You go like, do you even like this shit? It's like Star Wars fans who hate Star Wars more than people that hate Star Wars. It's wild. Have you just not had a chance to have a proper route around the BFG stuff? Have you decided who gets what fleet yet, for example? Oh yeah, I Snipe as Chaos. I'll be Imperial. I have had a bit of a route through now, because I like sorted out all the stuff. So we've now got a big shoebox that's full of
of Battlefleet Gothic stuff for me to start actually trying to collate. Because yeah, whilst what you sent us was very nicely labelled and everything, so I had a route through that. I'll very much enjoy painting a battle barge. I've always wanted to paint a battle barge, even if it's not a metal one, you know. So thank you. But yeah, trying to figure out what best to do and like trying to figure out how on earth to make a video about this, because it feels like too big right now. So I think it's like going to have to break it down somehow. It won't be like the Battlefleet Gothic video. It's probably going to be like I don't know, would it even be like a multi-part codex compliant almost? I don't know, is that a thing? I don't know. I have not yet been able to partition in my mind how to do that yet. Right, okay. Snow, 1 second whilst I grab my little snow shovel. A sub-series? No, it wouldn't be a sub-series. It would definitely be a part of Codex Compliant, but like just part of the mainline series. It's just, yeah, I don't know exactly. I guess my advice start with simple cruiser clash, 2 to 4 cruisers aside. Oh yeah, I was definitely just gonna do dry brushing on them. Looks like it'd be just going to do simple dry brushing for the most part, and then maybe just like go a bit more detailed on, like, say if you're doing like an Imperial ship, just on the like prow. There's a hair on there. But no, yeah, it's one of those things because I've, you know, obviously I've got... Why am I just constantly doing stuff off screen? It's not a thing until you decide. Well, the thing there is that when you are making content of the type that we do, there is a level of detail you have to go into with things, and some things are just inherently more of a thing than others are. Explaining combat cards, what for example, was very simple because its rules are barely there, whereas something that is as in-depth as Battlefleet Gothic and that has a history behind it, and even though it was a short-lived thing, has lots of different factions and things to go into. There's just inherently a lot more to cover there, so it's always you have to make a lot more decisions about what you're going to cover and what you're not. So it's a much bigger thing than just, say, covering a codex, which is just a part of a game. Whereas Battlefleet Gothic is sort of something where it's, by its very nature, it's sort of a whole thing. It's sort of a whole thing, whilst also not being as neatly compartmentalized as, say, 40k or Age of Sigmar or what have you. Short-lived only lasted roughly a decade. Well, when I say short-lived, I mean in that it had one big edition. And it was made for a long time, but it's well, for a long time, but it wasn't like something that was like had many editions to it, you know. That's what I meant. BFG uses metric, whilst the rest of GW uses imperial units. Why is that? Presumably because old GW stuff, the things were established in the 80s. But also Epic also used metric, so presumably there's a bit of that as well. It's the most reasonable ways to do codex compliant about the rulebook, then do a back rep of the game. That is one way to do it. But as I said, there are lots of ways to go about it, which is why I was saying like it's something to make a lot of decisions about, which is why it's not something we go sort of like fully into. Because there's not just one simple way of doing it. And also bat reps, I don't know if you know this, are a fucking pain in the arse to do. Absolute nightmares. If you don't have a third person to film you, if you don't have a good way of filming, if you don't have a nice space to do it in, absolute fucking nightmares to do. We have none of these things, so they are always a big deal, which is why the Second Ed series has kind of stalled a little bit, because yeah, they are an absolute pain. But anyway, speaking of things that aren't pains, I have finished this grot. It only took me 2.25 hours, which is terrifying, and it wasn't even the whole thing because I had like most of the skin tone already done. I don't know how mini wargame does them so often, because they have the things we don't have. If you have a dedicated space that you can easily do them in, makes it so much simpler. And if you have a decent setup for it, that's how you do it. We live in a small flat and we don't have a dedicated gaming table. We don't have the room for a dedicated gaming table. And none of the places that are nearby us that have gaming tables either allow filming or are easily accessible. So it's a pain in the arse, quite frankly, to do them for a lot of reasons. But yeah, he is done. Yeah. Yeah, compared to another Gorka Morka one. Yep. It's, you know, getting there, chipping away through Gorka Morka grots. But yeah. Ah, okay, right, well. That was my plan for today, to very slowly get that done whilst having a natter. Oh, hey, Longfang. Oh, thank you, Longfang. I've been doing this, so my Discord hasn't been pinging because it's in stream mode. But no, thank you. I shall check that out later. We want bat reps that take longer to make, stress less, and get snipe many snacks. You see, one of the, now. Don't worry, Longfang. For various reasons, we haven't got all of our stuff done, so it's not like been a problem. So don't worry. But yeah, one of the problem is that if we were to take the time to make everything perfect, we wouldn't. Our channel is relatively small, so our ad revenue is. We need to keep up a content schedule. We don't have the freedom to just not make stuff for a month and make the time to polish everything as finely as it could be. I would love it if that was the case, but we don't have that luxury. So sometimes things just have to come out as they are, and it means some things end up being a huge hassle that we just can't take the time to do because they're not going to change what we have to, the rent we have to pay at the end of the day, like, is what it is. It sucks, but it is just the nature of the beast. I'm not bitter about it. It is what it is. It's just, what can you do? What can you do?
Housing is a human fucking right.
I mean, yes. But I mean, immediately in making content, I can't really do much about that. But yeah, so, you know, capitalism is a flaming bitch. That is the thing at the end of the day. Let's just say there's a lot of ideas that we don't do, or we don't have the time to do because of all this stuff. If anything, you should be lazy at making them. I mean, probably. And I'm not taking. I didn't take it as that, so don't worry, Titan. All I meant was that, you know, a lot of the ideals of what would be nice to be able to produce, or what would be nice to of what would be perfect for us to be able to make, or like what people actually want to see. There is restrictions on what can be done that are outside of our control, unfortunately, and sometimes shit just sucks. But yeah. What you do, Wib, is run for Parliament, become Prime Minister, make housing a human right, and then you can afford to hire a studio space. That's one solution. Might be a bit of a terminal one, but you know what? It's certainly better than the no solution I have right now, so I mean, I can't really argue with that. But anyway, yeah, I've just been ranting, really. So yeah, thank you everyone for just chilling out with me on stream and letting me natter. Yeah, I'll wrap this up now, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching me paint this tiny little grot for far too long. But yeah, let's have a look. Let me move that out of the... Ah, it's dark. Turn that off. So that I can actually reach around and grab stuff. Okay. All right. Anyway, studio space and recording gear for Snipe Wib added to the when I win the jackpot list. Oh, bless you. We're fine. People are already way too generous to us. So, you know, do not spend your lottery wins on us. But also do, because I fuck, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going now. I'm far too warm and I'm just rambling. So, goodbye everybody. I hope you enjoyed the stream and you all take care of each other. Bye-bye.